Michael Watts came to INSEAD in 1978 and afterwards went to work in Silicon Valley. He was later CEO of 3 different high-tech companies in the US and Switzerland and is now a business angel. Welcome to Alumni Experience, Michael. So you left INSEAD and went into the technology sector. How did you come to be working for them?
I was offered a job with Raychem, which is a California-based materials company, very entrepreneurial, and I think about 10 people from INSEAD in that year joined. They were hiring, and I started off in corporate R&D in the UK. That was a tremendous experience, being the business planner for the corporate R&D outfit, which was about half of Raychem's total corporate R&D. This was a great experience of selecting projects or helping the director select projects to work on. And this was a group of 150 scientists and engineers. So deciding priorities and how you allocate your resources in research. And that meant liaising with the market divisions, getting their input. So a bit of market pull, balancing that with the technology push that all the scientists, they want to do their projects. So that balance between market pull and technology push and creating the dialogue and the process for deciding priorities. That was a tremendous experience.
You stayed with Raychem for 18 years. What is the right length of time to stay in a role?
Well, my rule of thumb in the particular type of business that I've been in is it takes a year to really understand what the job's about. So not just the job description, but really what it's about. Second year to do all the changes that you think are necessary. The third year to make sure that's all carried through, and by year 4 I'm looking for something else to do.
A lot of the roles you've taken on have this theme of commercializing R&D. What's the secret?
Well, I don't claim to have performed any magic, but it's the tension between market pull and technology push. If it's entirely market pull, you get quite a narrow and predictable range of innovations. If it's only technology push, you get a huge number of expensive failures. And it's that judgment in between to balance the two.
How do you choose where to spend your money and make your bets?
It is primarily strategy driven. So we say as a company, this is the area we want to be a leader in. And then you cascade down, what products do we have, what are missing, what can be filled with an acquisition, and what do we have to do in terms of organic development. And in Raychem, we did it all with organic development. I don't think companies have that luxury anymore. And you see a lot of companies cutting back on their R&D, but then are willing to come into the venture marketplace and acquiring developed startups once someone else has taken all the risk and failed. And so now being part of that business angel process, we're the guys who are taking all the risk.
After Raychem, you took on a variety of CEO roles, and some of these were sort of turnaround situations. How do you get a failing company back on track?
After I left Raychem, my former boss brought me into what was then the Fairy Group, now Spectris. So that's an instrumentation company that hold about 20 instrument companies across the world. And my first job there this was my first break to be a president of a company, CEO of a company. So it was an instrument company in Ohio that had got bloated with costs, and had rather lost its way. And I was brought in to solve that problem. First, I did my research with certainly with the Spectris group directors, and it was quite easy to analyze where the problems were and take the necessary actions. But then the challenge is so I think the analysis is usually quite easy. It's the implementation that's tough. So to reorganize a company and maintain the morale is the challenge. And so what I learned there was you've got to constantly communicate with people, tell them about the new direction the company is going, and never think you've communicated enough, but just to continue to communicate, walking and talking with people and using all the other media. But constant communication is absolutely key.
You've worked, Michael, in the high-tech sector, both in America and Europe. How do they compare, especially perhaps in terms of funding, their ability to fund innovation?
Well, I went back to Palo Alto, Menlo Park, for a reunion last month. And it was fascinating to contrast the ecosystem in Silicon Valley to that which I see in Switzerland and across Europe. There, the level of activity is massive. The number of interactions that happen all the time between engineers, venture capitalists, lawyers, software consultants is just intense. Whereas in Europe, it is the volume is much less, order of magnitude less, and there isn't the Darwinian process that you have in California, where first there is this huge level of activity and then a very high death rate. So only the best come through. In Europe, the activity level is lower and the death rate is not so high. So I still have more confidence in certainly the Silicon Valley ecosystem compared to the European one.